visit by a Canadian Prime Minister in nearly 20 years.
Justin Trudeau brings his sunny ways to Washington.
It's about time, eh?
Raise your hand. I swear I'm going to vote for Donald Trump next week. I swear.
Republican frontrunner Donald Trump responds to claims that he told supporters to do a Nazi salute.
Does that have anything to do with Nazi Germany?
5 people are dead and 3 are injured following a mass shooting in Pittsburgh.
Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Marino Greco, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. We begin with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his historic visit to the United States. It was announced today that Barack Obama will be in Ottawa this summer for the North American Leaders Summit and will be addressing Parliament. Trudeau and his wife were welcomed this morning by President Obama and the First Lady at the White House ahead of tonight's state dinner. The two have a busy day. They've spoke on their desire for new border agreements and expressed their plans on other issues. Trudeau says the relationship between the two countries is one of the strongest in history.
The history may be complex, but the bottom line is clear. There is no relationship in the entire world like the Canada-US relationship.
Both leaders have announced plans to fight climate change by cutting methane emissions 40 to 45% below 2012 levels by 2025. At a news conference in the Rose Garden, the two couldn't avoid questions about the upcoming U.S. election. Obama says he is not to blame for the Republican shakeup.
But what I'm not going to do is to validate some notion that the Republican crack-up that's been taking place is a consequence of actions that I've taken.
Good morning, everyone.
Trudeau added that he looks forward to working with whoever takes office. More controversy from Donald Trump's campaign. The front-runner in the Republican race for nomination for president is denying he has anything to do with Nazis and says that pledges at his rallies aren't Nazi salutes. The controversy started at a Florida rally when Trump asked supporters to raise their right hands and promised to vote for him.
We got a call like 2 nights later. Does that have anything to do with Nazi Germany? I said, are these people crazy? I probably won't ask you to pledge that you'll vote for me because they'll say that it was a horrible thing. You want to do it?
Trump went on to ask the North Carolina crowd to also raise their hands and pledge their vote. Critics say the hand raising is an obvious Nazi gesture and that Trump knows exactly what he's doing. Police are investigating a shooting near Pittsburgh that left 5 dead and 3 wounded. Police say 2 gunmen crashed a backyard party last night and opened fire. They say the shooters are still at large after fleeing from the scene. 4 women and 1 man were shot and killed. 3 others were taken to hospital.
It looks like right now they were all fleeing toward the back door of the residence when the second gunman fired from the side of the yard, and they all seemed to get caught on the back porch.
The attack in Wilkinsburg is the latest in a series of mass shootings to happen in the U.S. A killer storm has hit the southern parts of the United States. Houses, cars, and streets in Louisiana and Texas are completely submerged. Heavy rain and high winds flooded parts of Louisiana last night, leaving only rooftops of houses and cars visible. A 30-year-old man drowned in Oklahoma attempting to drive his sports utility vehicle across a flooded area. Flash flood warnings have been in effect since Wednesday as far as Illinois and Missouri. Rain has been falling for more than 24 hours and will continue for several more days. To Greece now, where migrants are staying put in their refugee camp after a flood has made living conditions worse than they already were. The migrants are still hoping they will be able to travel through the currently closed Greece-Macedonia border. They say even though the living conditions have worsened, they are not leaving.
It's very hard to us. Because in the cold, the raining, everything is here not good. We hope opens the gate, the border.
The migrants, who have been at the camp for several days now, are determined not to budge. The European Union hasn't made any official announcement on the closure. Now to New Delhi, where a teenage girl who was brutally raped and set on fire Sunday night has died in hospital. Police say the 15-year-old was on the roof of an empty house when she was assaulted and raped. When she threatened to sound an alarm, her attacker set her on fire and fled. 95% of her body was burned. The victim's parents say the suspect had stalked their daughter before. The suspect is now facing murder charges. A large number of similar incidents in India has women's rights activists calling for a timelier prosecution of rapists. A Serbian ultranationalist charged with war crimes has set fire to the EU and NATO flags outside a Belgrade court. The man was in court to hear the verdict on charges of war crimes against him, but it was postponed for procedural reasons. He says he won't go back to court and burned the flags in protest. The judge has ordered that he return in late March to hear the verdict in person. South Korea says the North has fired 2 short-ranged missiles into the sea. The South says the missiles were launched off the east coast of North Korea. They flew 500 kilometers into the water. After the missile launch, North Korea announced it would liquidate the South's assets that were left behind in the industrial and tourist zones. This comes a day after Kim Jong-un said scientists had developed nuclear warheads small enough to fit on ballistic missiles. Bringing it back home, there's been another stabbing near Humber College. Our reporter Christiana Chan has the story.
A victim was found suffering from stab wounds near Humber College last night and was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. However, he is now in stable condition. I'm standing at the corner of Humber Line and Humber Boulevard where a 20-year-old man was stabbed last night before 10:30 p.m. One suspect is in custody and charges are currently pending. I went to the halls at Humber College to ask students how they felt about a stabbing happening so close to campus.
Honest, it's scary. There's not a lot of security around. They don't really give us a heads up about what's going on. Precautions aren't being taken. I'm from a small town, so I'm not really exposed to this kind of stuff, and it makes me not really even want to come to campus.
It's pretty unsettling. It makes you not want to take the bus, which you kind of have to do, so it's a terrible feeling.
It is still not clear whether or not the suspect or victim are students at Humber College. Christiana Chan, Humber News.
We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Veronica Appia will have your 3-day forecast.
As you can see, it is a wet and gloomy day out here, but not to worry. We have good news headed your way. We'll have your full 3-day forecast coming up after the break.
But first, a charity polo match with a difference. 20 Thai elephants are teaming up with retired rugby players to raise money for working elephants. This is the 14th annual King's Cup polo match. Players ride elephants instead of horses. There are over 3,000 domesticated Thai elephants and 1,000 wild ones. Each year, hundreds of thousands of dollars are raised for elephant conservation projects in Thailand.